Getting it going here. And take it away.
Are we starting?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Let me get to. Okay. One, two. Welcome to Few Who Dare, the comprehensive and unofficial guide to the TV show Ice Road Truckers, where we recap and discuss all 138 episodes. I am Graham Gilson, and here with me is Jake Titus, and we are your pathfinders on this frozen journey. Jake, what's up, my dude?
Not much, Graham. What it do?
What it do indeed.
That's right. It's Mardi Gras, and we're coming out of the cold here in Minnesota.
Hell yeah. Are we coming out of the cold?
We are. We are.
Okay. I
Today,
haven't looked at the forecast, but
yes, last night was the last super cold night. So we're going to be getting up into the teens, and then we're going to be getting up into the 30s.
no shit.
Yeah,
Yes.
spring is coming.
Hell yeah. I do not believe you with that, but I believe we
That's
have like
fair.
2 more months before spring, but yeah. Yeah. I'm excited for it to get warmer.
Hell
I'm
yeah.
supposed to be like brave and be like, "Oh, we're doing a podcast about ice road truckers and I could be an ice road trucker. Look at me, how tough I am."
You've said that repeatedly.
Yeah, that's been my mantra.
Uh huh.
But, it's been like a kind of a tough cold week,
It was
even
super
with
cold.
me trying to be brave.
You know what, Graham? It sounds like you were brave.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Nobody else tells me that.
Well, I'm glad you can come get that affirmation here on Few Who Dare.
Yeah, man. That's why we're doing this for
Uh-huh.
me. For
So that you can know what a good brave boy you are.
I just need reassurance sometimes.
Don't we all, man? Oh man. Um so should we get into it?
Yeah, man. I am ready. This
Awesome.
is episode 3, Dash for the Cash.
These are the most half-assed episode titles.
Yeah.
I'm not impressed.
I don't. In the intro, Alex says they call it the Dash for the Cash, and that wasn't in this episode. I was
No,
like, oh,
it's
they
not.
named the episode Dash for the Cash. This can be the episode where Alex says Dash for the Cash, and
Right?
that's not. Yeah, I don't know why they named it Dash for the Cash.
Yeah, it's they I mean, this was the episode with like the huge big blizzard, so that
Yep.
would have been like a pretty cool thing, or
Yep.
just like, hey, Hugh's going balls out crazy.
Yeah.
That would have been a pretty good one too.
Oh, we got some good Hugh in this episode.
Whew, boy did we.
Oh man, I texted you.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, I felt a little bit like, oh, I don't want to, get into the episode, days before we record about it, but I couldn't help myself.
It was incredible. That was one of those moments that like just jumps out. It exists outside of the series as this like beautiful, stunning, wild work of art.
Yeah, like I will remember that moment, probably certainly of the first 3 episodes that we've done so far. I'm gonna remember. We'll talk about it later, of course, but I will remember that episode or that moment. Yeah, probably throughout when I look back on this 50 years from now. Oh
Absolutely.
yeah, there's that Hugh moment in episode 3 that was great.
I mean, I'm gonna remember it like day I married my wife, like who maybe day I become a father, who knows, and then
Yeah,
like fucking Hugh.
yeah, man, it's right up there. All right, we have definitely over talked this moment, so
Fair, fair.
let's put a pin in it till later on, I guess, right?
Yes.
Um, anything about the intro?
No, I'm feeling good on the intro.
All right, right on.
Yeah, my first thing was just well, not the intro to the show, but sort of the intro for the episode.
Uh-huh.
Um they talk about the storm. Can we get into the storm?
Yeah,
Okay. So they say what none of these truckers know is that the first blizzard of the season is on its way. And this episode begins on day 15 and it ends on day 17. We're
Yeah.
we're talking about something that is going to occur less than 48 hours from now. So I really have a hard time believing that there's absolutely zero advance knowledge of weather.
Yeah, I mean, they're not completely primitive there.
Right. So that part really baffled me. I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced that they're not totally inventing that dramatic irony.
They did say like that Yellowknife for that area is like known for um weather changing on a dime, or they make some statement like that, but that felt to me more like how every city ever has that thing
Yeah.
where it's like, well, if you don't like the weather, wait 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I just felt like, well, okay, yeah, that's bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, you're not known for that. You're known for being cold and having a nice road.
That's right.
Right. So
Yeah.
they must have known, okay, a blizzard's coming in.
Yeah. I kind of don't buy that. But on the flip side, I will say, so we do learn that like winds only have to get up to 18 miles an hour, which is our equivalent of 30 kph in order to cause whiteout conditions. And that's not very high.
What is that? I mean, is that the case here?
No, I'm guessing obviously, but I think it's not typically the case here, meaning metro area, because of the terrain and structures and trees. But you go out into western Minnesota, you get into the Dakotas, and wind just whips across unobstructed. And so if you have wind racing across miles of just flat snow and ice with nothing in its way, it can kick up a lot of snow, and so at ground level you really can be whited out.
Gotcha. That makes more sense.
Yeah. But that's not a lot of safety margin.
Yeah, 18 miles per hour.
I mean, I can run 18 miles an hour.
No, was the blizzard, I guess, I don't know if we need to get into it because I don't know if the show got into it, but is the blizzard like, was it actually a storm where there's a ton of snow falling, or was it just, it was windy?
Hard to say. There clearly was snowfall, but they talk about how there's like 1.5 feet of snow on the ice road, but a lot of that could be blown.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the actual accumulation was. The other thing about this winter storm, though, is they have this graphic that really looks to me like they got a GIF of a hurricane and just dropped it on their map of the ice road. It does not appear to look like a real representation of a storm.
Yeah, there was like, it was like there was like a cyclone going on. I didn't make note of that, but now that you say it, I was like, at the time I was like, is that what a blizzard looks like? That
Yeah. It's not accurate. I just, again, the Discovery Channel on the one hand or History Channel, right?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, Discovery. So they keep trying to make hay out of stuff that doesn't exist while ignoring the actual drama and stakes that they could totally talk about.
Yeah, totally.
Just classic.
Yeah. I don't like, they must have just thought nobody's ever gonna care about this. Like,
I kind of think that that's what the mentality must have been. The production is not good.
yeah, just like some of it's good, but like there are things that are just very half-assed.
Really phoned in. Yeah.
And I am not like a video production person at all. And it's clear to me.
Yeah. Yeah. Very surprising.
Jake, are we going to learn to hate this show?
No.
Okay.
I'm confident. of that.
All right, good. You have a little bit more confidence in me. I don't think we'll hate the show, but there's a part of me that's worried that
maybe
if they keep phoning it in, it's just going to be me screaming at you about things that I hate about the show. Oh man.
Oh, so yeah, the other yeah, just in this intro they're sort of setting up that like who's the first guy that's setting out? Is it Rick? Is it Rick Yen? Rick Yen?
Um, I have
Or is it
Alex.
Alex? I think
I
it's
have
Alex.
Alex,
Yep.
but
Because he's
they could have
taken the
said something about
Cone
Rick, and I
Crusher,
just didn't.
right?
Yeah.
The Cone Crusher, which is like fucking an amazing name for anything.
Yeah.
So they make the comment that keeping the load on the truck is only half the battle, and it's like, yeah, no shit, man. It might even be a little bit less than half the battle. We're talking about trucking.
Oh man. Yeah, they had a really good CGI. Well, I wasn't good, but they had a really like I loved it. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's like the CGI of this huge cone crusher on the back of Alex's truck. And the whole thing is like if he were to stop or run into something, it could be very dangerous. And it shows like, for some reason he hits something or stops. And then this cone that's on the back of his truck just flies forward, absolutely crushes the cab, killing him.
Mm-hmm.
And sure. Then, yeah, it's all CGI. It's pretty good.
Oh man, it is pretty good. Yeah, so that's kind of all I had about like the storm intro and the Alex getting the cone ready.
I had something. They said it's the 15th day of the Ice Road season, like you just mentioned, and less than 1/3 of the 10,000 loads have made it out.
Mm-hmm.
Which 15 days is 1/4 of this, 60+ day season.
Yeah, so they should be fine. They're doing great.
Yeah, I'm like, well, they're ahead of schedule.
Right? Rick Fitch should be like, guys, get off of my nuts about this. It's fine.
We don't have enough loads for you guys.
Yeah.
At this rate, we're going to run out of loads.
I mean, it is weird because, the folks we're following are like behind where they would want to be for the season. So yeah. Overall, the road seems like it's doing fine. It's just that these guys are having a rough shot at it. And also, thank you for bringing up the timeline, because so it seems clear now that the show is kind of trying to follow this like week 1, week 2, week 3 format. Why won't they say that? That would make it so much easier and so much just more like, it would just chunk up the narrative into more of like an intelligible set.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it's just these arbitrary points in time over the course of 60 days with kind of no rhyme or reason.
Yeah, they could even name the episode like episode 3, week 3.
That would be a big improvement over the dash for the cash. Much more descriptive.
Yeah. So another note, they introduced this big blizzard, and then they show this overturned semi. Like when they're talking about the blizzard, we don't see an overturned semi. Nobody overturns. So this is just like some video they got. Like it has nothing to do with the show. Like, oh, this is gonna be sick.
Right?
And then it never got sick.
Negative.
Yeah. Also, they showed the temperature, and it was -15, and I was like, oh, fucking wimps. We got -20 here.
Ooh, got him.
That's nothing.
Oh man.
Yeah, and so yeah, we got Alex, and he is we got a good Alex line because he is like putting antifreeze into his brakes or something. I don't know what he's doing, some trucker shit. And he says, "It's alcohol. I wouldn't drink it. It's not good for your eyes." It's not good for your eyes.
Classic Alex.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh man.
Okay, and Jake, I also wrote a question for you. Have you ever driven or been in a semi truck?
No to both. You?
No, no. Never been in one.
Huh.
I have I feel like the biggest truck I've ever driven is just like a truck.
A truck meaning like a pickup truck or
Yeah,
like
like a pickup truck,
uh-huh.
normal truck. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Have you driven anything bigger than a truck?
I mean, I've driven like moving vans,
I guess that counts, yeah.
but that's it.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay.
I think there
All right.
might have been one time that I feel like I have a super vague memory of being like, I don't know, somewhere between 12 and 14 and driving a vehicle. No, it couldn't have been 12 to 14. I don't know. Somewhere between 15 and 16 maybe, driving a vehicle that had a trailer on it with like my dad trying to talk me through it. And I'm sure I did a very, very, very bad job of it. That's probably the most complex driving thing I've ever done.
Okay. Just like a pull behind, like,
Yeah.
yard trailer.
Yep.
Okay. You're
Where,
probably backing it up and somebody was like,
mm-hmm.
you're fucking this up.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Everybody has that. Well, I certainly had that experience growing up too.
Uh-huh.
Do not, yeah. Cannot back up a trailer.
Negative.
Um, Dang it, I had another follow-up question. It'll come back to me. We can move on.
um okay, so my next interesting stuff was when I sort of one the first of I think three interesting Hugh scenes when
Mhm.
Hugh is in the yard and he's talking shit.
Yeah.
So Hugh says, quote, "They're not worth a fuck," referring to his drivers. And I kind of don't understand what he's pissed about. Like, because we don't learn that they're like turning down work or something.
Yeah.
To the contrary, I don't know. Everyone seems to be kind of taking everything that's available. So I don't understand like what he's mad about. And it's kind of like, well, why don't you have any more trips then, Hugh?
Yeah. At this point, the only person who has like missed work is Hugh because he had that breakdown last episode.
Which was not Rick's fault.
It was not Rick. It was nobody's fault.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. So I don't really get what's up. Maybe he's just like pissed that they're not getting as many runs in, and so he's like pissed at them. I don't know.
yeah. I mean, if that scene happened at the end of the episode, I could like, maybe buy because we see a little bit about Drew and Rick.
Yeah.
Possible reasons Hugh could be mad at him, but I don't even buy that. I mean,
Yeah. Suspicious.
I kind of speaking about Hugh and speaking about timelines, you remember he did 41 loads in 60 days.
Yes.
And I feel like I'm certainly still confused about timelines for like how long things go.
Yes.
And there's a scene early on where we had the narrator saying the cracking of the ice reminds the driver that for the next 36 hours, the ice is in charge.
Yes.
And I was like, 36 hours. That's a day and a half, right?
It is.
So you can't even do 41 loads if they're 36 hours each in 60 days. It's like you could do 40.
Yeah. Well, that does seem like kind of worst case. Again, Discovery Channel playing fast and loose, trying to do odd, nonsensical rounding with a base 12 number system. But we do get some good data points. So it does seem like 15, 16 hours, if you're talking about getting up to Diavik, is, that's a reasonable one-way time. So, I mean, doubling that, it seems like you can go back about that or maybe a little bit faster. So, but we're talking about like 30 to 36 hours per round trip. But I guess you
Yeah.
throw a couple of these Snap Lake runs in, which are shorter, and maybe that's, part of how you get those higher numbers.
Gotcha. Yeah, and maybe that 36 hours is like it includes, them sleeping for 6 hours in the cab of their truck or something.
Maybe. It could.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Do the trucks do they have a place for people to sleep?
Yeah. Yeah, so in the cab there's like a bunk, I think, usually.
Like behind the seats. I've always assumed, because like when you look at semi trucks,
Mm-hmm.
there's the part that like looks super aerodynamic
Yeah.
right behind where the driver sits,
Uh-huh.
and you can't see what's back there, but I assume like the cab goes back, and then right there's like a bunk or something.
I've shared that assumption. And now that you're talking about it, I bet there must be some like pretty sick cabs.
Yeah.
Like, I bet some dudes have got their shit kitted out very fine.
I kind of want to look up YouTube videos of like sick semi truck cabs now. I bet there's like a Cribs but for semi trucks.
That'd be rad. Cabs.
Yeah. All right. Next step, I'm going to present some of these.
Awesome.
We're going to talk about sick cabs.
So, another Hugh thing, though, they have a shot of Hugh, again, talking shit about his team.
Yeah.
And he does a mocking Rick voice.
Really?
It's just like generic dumbass guy voice. So he says something along the lines of, Rick's like, well, I don't even think we need 3 trucks next year. I thought that was hilarious. Hugh just seems like he's in a dark place at the start of this episode. Things are not great.
Yeah. He just seems kind of pissed. Like that's his baseline. I don't know. His baseline place is just kind of pissed.
Uh-huh. Maybe he seemed so like kind of roll with the punches and vibe with anything when we got going, but maybe that'll come back once things start turning around.
Yeah. I think he said that quote that he said. He says, Rick says we should have 3 trucks next year. Well, what the fuck does he know? I gotta have an extra truck for all the fuck ups them 3 have had this year. Holy fuck! I could replace them in a flash.
Yeah, it's pretty salty.
Yeah, he went after them.
Yeah, he really did.
And I guess at this point we did learn that Rick had some sort of a breakdown because of the lines.
The lines, yep. The lines.
Yeah,
from
something again with the lines.
Yep.
Yep. And so he lost $2,000 in time.
Yep.
And so Hugh's pissed about that, even though Hugh just literally his lines fucked up.
Right.
And he lost the same. He doesn't have a leg to stand on.
Yeah, he does not.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Okay, so after that we meet the Blizzard's coming in, and we meet Jim Mackey from Secure Check, and he is the police of the ice road.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And he just tells us about visibility.
That's right.
Did you have anything on him?
Nope.
Nope, me either. That's it.
Didn't write the name down.
I wrote it down. Every time that we are introduced to somebody, I'm like, this guy's important. I'm going to write it down. We'll meet him again, and he'll have something interesting to say, and never. Just like, he just comes on and talks about visibility.
Yeah. So, can we jump to day 16 now? Are we at day 16?
Yeah, I have no idea when that starts, but I'll catch up to you.
So yeah, we're hearing more about like the storms coming.
Yeah.
Because we meet Todd White. So this guy is also on Hugh's team, and this is the first time we've heard his name mentioned.
Yes. Todd White, yeah.
And you know what? Seems like a totally cool bro.
Yeah, absolutely.
I have no idea why He's not in on the television show thing.
Can I share with you what I wrote about him?
Yes, please.
Okay. Um, okay, one earring,
Mhm.
strong corn or mindless self-indulgence fan energy.
Yes, absolutely.
It has a long ponytail
Hmm.
and a long goatee.
Very long goatee.
Yeah. And there's something going on with teeth.
Very strange facial hair overall, because there's sort of a 6 o'clock shadow that
Mhm.
then explodes or drips maybe into sort of a goatee.
It's an exploding drip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really strong look. Like
Yeah.
cultivated over a long period of time.
Yeah. I mean, he's got a cool look. Like,
Yeah, he seems rad.
yeah. He seems like he might be firing up like probably not World of Warcraft, but like some sort of interesting
Mm,
multi player online RPG in the cab of the truck while he's
okay.
driving. Yeah.
Interesting.
He's got some like kind of computer nerd vibes, but also like violent,
Uh-huh.
insane clown posse energy about him. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Totally.
Yeah. Yeah. I liked him. I
Yeah, he
didn't.
seems great.
So we thought that Hugh had three drivers. He just mentioned how he needs an extra truck.
Uh-huh.
He has four trucks. We know he has four trucks. He said I need an extra truck for the fuck ups you guys are doing. And then this guy is like introduced in almost the next scene as, oh, this is Hugh's fourth driver. This is what the fourth truck is for.
Yeah. And which also is like, we haven't heard Hugh complain about him. So is that guy good? He's just like a chill, like cruising along, getting runs in, dude.
I don't I do not understand what is going on with Hugh's team
I don't think
because
Hugh does either.
yeah, does he not know that he has a fourth driver? Maybe that's what's going on.
Oh man. So they're talking about, this, I don't know, Lockhart comes up a lot in this episode. And like I really want to see Lockhart. I feel like they've mentioned it a lot. It's they put it on the map and
Yeah.
then have studiously avoided like really talking about it or showing it for the past, for the first two episodes. So I
Yeah.
think that would probably be like really genuinely interesting. Like there probably are people who like kind of live and work there for extended periods of time. That's probably interesting to show and talk about.
Yeah.
Just missed opportunities.
It later on I think Hugh goes they're about to head out after the blizzard, so spoiler alert, the blizzard ends. They're about to head out and he says that he's not going to stop in Lockhart because the only thing you do there is get fat. Or I forget
It's
exactly what he
you
said,
eat
but like
and then you get tired and then you get fat.
yeah. Which to me that means that there's some sort of restaurant or
Yeah.
something at the very least there.
Uh-huh.
Is it a town? We don't even know if it's a town.
Yeah, I'm really curious what a rest stop is on this winter road.
Yeah. I mean, I know what a rest stop is on a non-winter road, and there's
Uh-huh.
not like you can't get fat there because it's vending machines and somewhere to pee.
Well, to be fair though, that's a on the lower end of rest stop, right? If you've ever
Okay.
driven the Indiana Toll Road, now
Ooh.
those are some rest stops.
Are they good?
Oh, they're the best. Best rest stops I've ever seen anywhere in these United States.
All right.
Shout
I'll
out
have to
Indiana. You won't get
check
any
out the
more,
Indian.
so enjoy that one.
And yeah, you get one chance. We're doing 138 episodes. That's it.
That's it. You've got some other shit we need to talk about sometime, but I will
Yeah.
give you the toll road.
Yeah. I don't care for your dunes. Okay. I told my wife about, I don't know, we were talking about like going to a state park or something. And I was like, oh, maybe Indiana Dunes State Park. And she's like, what? Indiana? There are dunes there? I was like, I guess
Oh.
so.
Yeah, I've never been, but people talk about them all the time.
Yeah.
There are a couple of interesting dune formations along the Great Lakes, outside
Okay.
Traverse, I think, in Michigan.
Hmm.
Is Traverse the one that's on like the West Coast?
It's definitely in Michigan. I've
But
heard
there's
of
some
it.
huge dunes there.
Okay, right on.
Yeah, Great Lakes are a fascinating region and ecosystem, often overlooked. So that's my plug.
Check out the Great Lakes.
In other news,
We can get back to the episode.
so my next thing was about Alex, and we get a little insight into his spirituality.
Uh-huh. Oh yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So this was really interesting, and it really took a turn for me because basically, as he's driving up into the blizzard, they show him making a prayer to his guardian angel,
Hmm.
and I was really thrown for a loop at the start because the start of the prayer is something like, "Dear guardian angel, go to the tabernacle, say hello to Jesus, talk to him." And I was like, what? What kind of a prayer is this? But then from there, it like becomes something a little bit more conventional. And then there's this really kind of amazing line from him where he says, I'm not a very good example of Christianity, but I'm a uh, hold on. What did I say? Oh, I'm not a very good example of Christianity, but I'm a much improved version of who I once was.
Yeah.
And that was such a like genuinely heartwarming statement.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, at Team Alex, ride or die.
Absolutely. Like, yeah, I was surprised that it was like, oh, the show's gonna throw some real Christianity in,
Yeah,
which like probably speaks to a big demographic of who watches the History Channel, I would guess. I don't know.
I don't know.
But either way, his way of kind of, I don't know, I was impressed with like his take on faith and his take on um I don't know, like he admitting his own like past, and it just often you would see probably um in a Christian, like if they're going to present Christianity in a show, it would just be a pretty standard prayer and not um you know, look at me and look at my past ills, and I'm I don't know, I don't know what I'm saying, but I was impressed. I
Yeah,
liked it too.
yeah. It was very personal and very honest.
Hmm.
Yeah, and to your point, so I did a little bit of research into a Alex fact that we'll get to later.
Okay.
But he he does or did certainly did have a huge following of people who identify as Christian and really look to him as like just a kind of unabashedly positive representation of a Christian on television.
Cool.
So he actually like he wrote a book and he went on a book tour nationally. Someone followed him and did a documentary about the book tour, which we're starting to get
What?
very meta here.
Oh shit, are we gonna do an episode about that documentary?
We maybe need to.
Yeah.
But so yeah, I think a lot of people, I don't know how much more of this there's going to be, but like frankly, it's pretty remarkable. That was kind of a remarkable moment of reality television.
Yeah.
Just that like unvarnished, not kind of commercialized, packaged expression of faith.
Yes. Yeah. I totally agree with what you're saying, and I think that that's kind of what I was trying to say as well. So thank you for expressing it now.
And then, of course, because it's Alex, there has to be a little bit of levity there. And so he kind of has a throwaway line where he suggests that his guardian angel must be a truck driver because he's gotten him through so many things.
Hmm.
I would really like to see some fan fiction about Alex Dobogorski's truck driver guardian angel in heaven and his adventures.
Yeah.
That would be very good.
Yeah. Or in It's a Wonderful Life type of guardian angel comes down to save him from, show
From
him.
something.
Yeah, I don't know.
Probably from.
I don't. I'm not gonna write the whole, fanfic right here live for you people, but
Oh man.
write your own fan fiction.
Yeah.
Um. So, right around that time, they show, I don't know, for another. I'm not sure why, but or at least I can't remember why, but they show a truck going through the ice. And it is the same CGI that we see in the intro and that they've shown in every episode. So this is like my 8th time seeing this CGI of or whatever. I guess we decided it was a miniature, but
Well, I
and
think you
it's the
did
same truck going through the
Yeah.
ice. And I think they're just going to do this obviously in the
Every
intro
episode.
every episode, but I think it's going to be in the episode itself also.
Why make a second one?
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway.
Oh man, you know what? We should get the Mythbusters guys in, and at the end of this first season, they should actually load up an abandoned truck and just sink it through the ice, so we can get some better B-roll for next season.
Absolutely, right?
Yes, they'll be perfect.
I mean, it can't be that expensive to find like a broken down truck. I mean, I don't have that kind of money, but I'm sure History Channel does.
Oh man, don't have that Deadliest Catch money.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. So I will say the weather is pretty cool. So the ice fog that Alex starts driving through is amazing.
Yeah.
So they explain that there's a storm coming, bringing like precipitation, but it's also extremely cold, and so the relative humidity of the air is totally maxed out, and so the water actually just starts to crystallize in the air. So it looks awesome, but also I guess I was kind of wondering, that must be really, really hazardous, because I would imagine it means the ice is just like starting to accumulate on every part of that truck, plus the road surface. And they don't really talk about that, of course, because why would you? That's like an actual legitimate danger, and we're not interested in that here at History.
Well, listen, they have a blanket on the truck, on the front of the truck.
Blanket. That's right.
It's, fixes it. I don't know what more you want.
They poured some Fireball on the lines. They put a blanket underneath. It's good to go, man. Oh, man. So my next stuff was about Drew. So I don't know if you have any.
Yeah. So TJ is like leading the line in the storm. He's like the one who's the deepest in the blizzard. And I'm not sure how much more he shows up in this episode, but we see him in the, in the blizzard, and he just looks super scared, and it's really funny. It's like, anytime you need a little comedy, at least for me, you just cut to TJ being scared and I'll be happy.
Yeah, but you know what? Sticking it out.
Yeah. Being scared isn't a bad thing.
That's right. As you learned this past week, you can be brave.
It keeps you safe. Sometimes being scared can be a good thing because it keeps you safe.
That's right.
Yeah. The blizzard ends. And that's it.
Done.
It was like, nothing bad happened. It was like super anticlimactic.
Well, there was one bad thing that happened.
Uh-huh.
Someone's truck froze. So they were a little bit unclear about what caused this, like if he shut it off and then couldn't get it started again. But someone's engine froze up and had to get rescued by a passing driver, and then they had to go tow the truck back to Yellowknife.
Yeah.
So I think it would be useful to find out what happened there, because it seemed like it was on the lake. So I'm wondering if maybe the conditions were so bad that some inexperienced driver decides like, I just can't keep going. I've got to stop, and I know I can't idle, so I've got to shut the truck off, and then can't restart it.
Yeah.
It seems like a real dangerous gambit.
Yeah, they really didn't explain it at all.
Yeah, just I don't know. Sometimes trucks freeze.
Yeah, it was just like his truck froze up. It just like froze. He was like driving it, and then it was like it was done. It froze.
Lame.
It's like I kind of want to know how that happens, so that, like,
Right.
if I'm ever driving somewhere in negative 40-degree temperatures, I don't want my car to just like stop.
Right? And again, that's the actual real evidence of how dangerous this is, not a rotating JPEG of a hurricane. But we don't want to investigate that. We don't want to talk about that.
Man, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and then before we get to Drew, I do have a clip. The last episode I tried to play a little clip off my phone. It was garbage, but we see, like, so I'm gonna try it.
Okay.
I guess. But so let me introduce this. So there's a bunch of boring shit happening, where they have to wait at a checkpoint for
Yes.
Rick and Hugh, I guess.
Is
They're
this the
waiting at a checkpoint or something.
Meadows?
I barely wrote any notes down. Like I'm trying to introduce this, but like my notes are so bad. I literally wrote some boring shit about having to wait at a checkpoint for Rick and Hugh.
That
And
tracks.
then, yeah, who cares, right? The interesting thing is this song starts and it is so sick again.
So, if you give me the like time code, I
yeah.
could actually play it off here.
Oh, hell yeah. So I have it at 30:43, 30 minutes, 43 seconds.
Okay. I'm going to have to I might have to watch an ad.
Okay. That's all right. Probably mute it, or I'll talk over it. Actually,
or
maybe I
maybe
want to hear the
not.
ad.
Okay, let me this is going to be tricky. Oh, you know what? I'll screen share it, and then
Okay.
that way that's what'll get captured on Zoom.
Right on.
Okay.
And you know what this is actually right here? I think this is when we see Drew
Oh,
for the first time in, like, 3 episodes. He comes back. And I kind of think that this is his, like, we haven't seen Drew in a while, and this is his intro music coming back
Yes.
in.
Okay.
All right, let's do it.
If your mouth is
Oh,
made to
we're
amaze,
gonna
Oh,
have to
shit.
watch some ads.
It's hair erase. Get healthy
All
in
right.
2 weeks,
We
guaranteed.
can talk over this or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, so while they're at the Meadows, also Rick again has to add chains to his ring. Like, you cannot have an episode of Ice Road Truckers without Rick having to stop and adjust his chains.
Yeah. He had to add, like, not chains on his tires, but like that's
Yes,
where
for
he had
his
that
load.
the load of like rebar that was like sliding all over his truck, right?
Yep.
Yeah, man. There was a lot. I mean, it showed that him like strapping that down. He was worried about sliding all over, and then it gets more screen time about how he has to like add chains, and
I think Rick might not be very good at chains.
I think so.
Oh,
Okay.
okay, here we go.
Until we can go.
While waiting their turn to leave, Rick runs into fellow driver Drew Sherwood.
They haven't given you a time out of here? No, there was a spin about 8. I'm hauling groceries.
Should we keep going?
The nose is groceries in the back
No, that's
end
it.
of it.
You got it.
Is that
It's
Sweet
just like
Child
this-
of Mine?
I can't figure it out. It's a worm in the back of my mind. That song, like, dun, 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 dun. I think it's like a Bush song, or like Live. You know that band Live?
I do not know Live, no.
Lightning crashes. Lightning crashes. Lightning crashes. A new mother cries. You know that song?
I don't.
You know that song?
No.
It's like a famous song because the next words in that song is her placenta falls to the floor. It is insane
Wow.
lyrics. Um,
Oh man, you're just boosting your bad boy cred here.
yeah, man. 90s shitty alt rock. Anyway, like that song, just that guitar lick,
That's
super
amazing.
sick, and just like
Yeah.
barely audible in the background, and out of nowhere, I don't know who it's for or why they put it in. It almost sounds like the conversation that they're having in the show. There's like literally somebody just grabbed a guitar and an amp in the background of the show. It's like, well, we can't cut this. We can't cut it out.
It's all on the same track, guys. Like, fuck. Oh man, dude, that's amazing. That's really choice.
It's a pretty sick guitar lick they for some reason decided to add in.
Man. Yeah, it was weird to see Drew again. And it was good to see him laugh.
Yeah.
That's all I had on that. It was just good to see him laugh.
I thought he was joking. He said, "I'm hauling groceries." The nose is groceries and the back end is 2x4s. I thought he was joking, but like no, he's literally hauling groceries.
Uh-huh.
It's like everybody else is hauling like, heavy shit and he's like, "I'm hauling groceries." I don't know why I thought it was a joke, but yeah.
Oh man.
He also has a pretty great line. He says he's not going to compete with Hugh and Rick because he's the old man. I have sex for 3 minutes and I need a 10-day nap. It's
Yup.
funny. Yeah. Give him more screen time. He's a fuck up and he's kind of funny.
Oh man. Well, luckily we get some great screen time coming up now from Hugh and also from Rick, who are now in the same caravan.
Yeah.
They're driving. They've come out of the storm and they catch up to the people in front of them, who they do not like.
Oh no, they're going too slow.
They're going too slow, and there's some shit that gets said here.
Yes.
So, I think that Hugh talks about them kind of being like rookies, but Alex,
He calls them stupid rookie cocksuckers.
that's right, and then
Drew.
Rick.
It starts with like, I wrote it. So Drew is like,
Oh, you're right.
They shouldn't be
You're
doing
right.
this, right? That's like he's like mad, and he's like, oh, they shouldn't be doing this. And then Hugh is like, stupid rookie cocksuckers. And then Rick, did you write down? Okay, you tell me
Yes.
what Rick did.
Rick says, "Go back to your home country and get off our roads, you cocksuckers." It's like, holy shit. So first of all, is home country America? I have to imagine that's what they're referring to.
I have
Second of
no
all, wow, cool homophobia. Cool, just real shitty shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, wow. And it was right there, right under the surface. You just had to poke it a little bit, huh?
Yeah, I was really blown away with that. It was just really xenophobic for no apparent. They weren't even like, are we supposed to believe that Rick knows who these drivers are?
I don't know.
Is there a
They
flag?
both seemed genuinely angry. Like at
Yeah.
other points in the show, guys have been pissed off. They've cussed. They've said sort of funny things, but with a little bit of detachment from it. This was I'm gonna fucking punch that guy energy.
I think what bothers me about it is also the show made a conscious decision to air this, right? And
Uh-huh.
so if they're gonna air it, I really wish they had been like had shown had given some context to it, like they just let Rick say this, right? So if they had Rick say this, but then had like let you know that the driver was from Norway or from the U.S. or something else, then we could contextualize like he is saying that these people need to go back to their home country, which is this country, and then we get to be mad at Rick for like something specific. But right now, it's just like he just gets to be just a shithead who is like, go back to your home country. And that's like, I just feel like the show is like giving him a pass on that. Whereas like, I want the show to like explore that a little bit and give us some context so that we can, I don't know.
Yeah. It's one thing to make profane jokes about how your dick doesn't work. It's like another to like, actually make like derogatory, dehumanizing comments.
And part of it's like in the US, when you have when people say that, go back to your home country, go back to your country, they're talking about a few places.
Yeah. They're
talking
saying
about
racist shit about Mexicans, probably
Central America, Mexicans, the Middle East. Locally here, Somalia, probably.
It's not like a off the cuff remark you can just throw off and leave.
And so when you hear that on the History Channel from a Canadian, probably, I guess, maybe talking about America, I don't know, but like
honestly,
viewers are like,
I really hope.
Probably, I hope so too. And are the viewers like, oh, I guess they're Mexican drivers or something? Like, I don't know what the context is, and that's what really bothers me.
Yeah, and it's when that was such a big moment, and for that to be treated with the same sort of banality as, Rick strapping his shit down for the 90th time, it does seem like it's not a great treatment of this topic. And would be genuine, and it's not just coming from a place of like, good TV is provocative, and it's something you can engage with. So provocative, not meaning just shocking, so the way this was presented was merely shocking, but had they done the work to get into the context, then it could be provocative. Then it could be something that we could actually have a constructive conversation about and maybe like, learn something about their world or this time or us or something. But like to just drop it and walk away sucks.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Give me some sort of context, even if it's like Rick believes that that they are American drivers and Rick believes that American drivers are worse than other drivers, then that's at least some sort of context for what he's saying. And I don't, as a viewer, and everybody else's viewers don't just get to make up their own story for what he's talking about.
Yeah.
Anyway.
That was a real heavy moment. And I think also I don't know what moral weight this has, but I'm just aware of the fact that like I today in 2021, I'm sure I know read this very differently than I would have 5 years ago or 10 years ago or when I was 15, So do you remember what year this would have been filmed?
I want to say like 2011.
Okay. So it's not that long ago. Okay. Yeah, there we go. So
I think so. I mean, it could have been like 2007 or something. I don't know when. How many seasons are there? Are there like 10, 11 seasons? Maybe
11.
So you would think maybe like a season a year. Almost certainly, right? Because it's a season is literally a season every winter.
I would hope so.
So 11 and it's been off the air for 3 years, so maybe it is more like 2007.
Okay.
So, Bush years.
It was the Bush years.
I'm sure in Canada they were like, paying close attention to that sort of stuff.
Yeah. Okay,
Um,
so then
yeah.
we get to another super crazy thing with Hugh and Rick and the order of trucks in the convoy.
Yeah.
So Rick, correct me if I'm getting this wrong, because it was a little confusing, but Rick wanted to pass Hugh so that
Yeah.
he could lead the convoy? Or maybe so he could just leave the convoy and just go faster. I don't know.
I think that was like he just wants to be in the lead.
Uh-huh.
I think the show is just kind of, to be cynical, I think the show is just kind of playing up like that drama because it's like more interesting than just watching Jay be good at his job.
Truly. Yeah,
So-
the show is like more and more just leaning into the dick comparison angle of all of this.
Mhm, mhm.
So Rick is trying to to pass, and Hugh pulls out a BB gun pistol.
I think it's Cap Gun, but I'm not sure.
Well, in one of the shots, maybe it's a cap gun. In one of the shots, I felt like you could hear something inside Rick's cab hitting his truck.
Oh,
I don't know. I mean, the other thing is, again, Rick thinks this is funny, but in the way that like you see him laughing and like he's laughing because he's fucking exhausted and he is
Yeah.
just trying to like get underneath Hugh's skin. Again, Hugh seems legitimately angry. Like
Yeah.
when he first pulled that firearm, that gun, whatever it is out, I was like, holy shit, Hugh's gonna shoot out his tires? Like, what is happening?
I think you bought into it maybe more than I did, but
Okay. So you read Hugh as more like being kind of playful with Rick?
again, I'm kind of cynical about it. And I was like, Hugh knows that he's on camera
That's true.
and is like, I'm gonna make it fun. That was all I really thought about it. I mean, maybe if I disregard that, it's probably like, yeah, he's, they're bored and he's just like gonna goof around, and there's something that they do is he like is gonna try to make Rick laugh by shooting something out the window at him. But also like, Rick is like, he's gotta. They're not driving next to each other, are they? I don't think you can.
It
on the
doesn't
ice.
seem like they should be.
And I also don't think that they're supposed to be like right behind each other.
or leaning out the window to shoot things at each other.
Yeah. Yeah,
Where's secure safe now?
I know. Yeah. Are they going to review this video?
Oh
Um,
man.
I also made a note that Rick, at some point in here, is wearing these very light purple wraparound shades that are like
Yes.
super sick.
Hell yes.
I kind of want some.
Okay, so are we to the big Hugh moment now?
Yeah, there was something. I had made a note. TJ is recounting the story of the blizzard at some point in here,
Mm-hmm.
and he said, "Oh, I looked out the window to see if we were still on the ice. That was extremely stressful." It was like because it was so snowy that he couldn't tell whether or not he was driving on the road. So he was like looking out his side window to see if there was ice there or not.
Uh-huh.
That was extremely stressful. It's just like, God, I love TJ. I don't know.
He's great.
He tickles me. All right. Yeah. Rick has to backhaul. Who gives a shit?
Yes, that's right.
He takes a nap he decides he needs to take a nap because, oh yeah. So, all right, I'll introduce what's about to happen with Hugh. So they drove to the mine. It took 16 hours. And it's going to take him 22 to get back. because he has to backhaul something. No explanation of why it takes longer coming back to backhaul. It's certainly not any more weight than he drove there, but whatever. Maybe it's because he knows that he's going to sleep. But anyway, he gets to a portage and decides he needs to take a nap. And I just show me his bed. I want to see what's in that cab. But anyway, they're really tired.
Mhm.
And we see Hugh. And you can take it away.
Oh, you gotta do the honors. 'Cause you texted
Okay,
me
all right.
this.
So Hugh is like very tired, and he's sitting in the cab of the truck driving. It's definitely moving, right? Do you agree?
Yes, 100%.
He's for sure driving.
Absolutely.
But he is sitting like sideways, and there's a camera. Like if he was driving, holding onto the steering wheel, the camera would be almost directly behind him. He's sitting so far sideways. He's got one hand on the wheel, and he's sitting so far sideways that like he can turn around to talk to the camera behind him. And he's talking about how he does this workout routine to keep himself awake. And he first starts out, he's got this like crazy bar that has a spring in it. Have you seen one of those before?
I've never seen that before in my life.
The whole thing is like he's bending it. You like bend it in half, which I don't know what muscles that uses. But
He's a lap
like, yeah,
man.
do some of these. And then, so he's showing us he doesn't have any hands on the wheels while he's doing
Correct.
that.
Yes. Again, this is a two-handed, by definition, a two-handed device. He holds
Yeah.
both hands on it.
Yeah, and he's like, this is how I stay awake. So he's ostensibly doing this routinely to keep himself awake.
Oh my god.
And then he grabs a dumbbell, which he calls a barbell.
Yes.
And he
Just rips off some curls.
yeah, he shows us how he does his curls. So again, still sitting sideways, like not looking at the road at all, with one hand on the wheel, doing curls. And he says, do a few pumps here and there, do about 50 at a time. He says he does about 50 at a time. It's like a pretty heavy dumbbell. God damn it.
Oh, you know what though? That's a brilliant strategy.
I mean, yeah, it would keep you awake if you're trying to rip out. Maybe I don't
50
know.
doesn't
Is he
seem like the
saying
right
like
number.
50?
Yeah.
Like he's straight, like 50 in one arm straight. He must mean like he's doing like 25 in each arm.
I don't know. I bet he's ripping out 50. Oh.
So while he's talking, they keep cutting to like a front view
Yes.
of the truck, and it's like kind of swerving. It's like slowly swerving on the road, which I was just like, I was so happy with that editing. That was
yes.
really good.
That was choice. That
Oh
was
man.
really good. Yeah, that's that's actually like a really brilliant strategy. So I have in my working life done a number of all-nighters. And
In your working life.
yeah, unfortunately,
Not in your college life.
I aspire to no longer do them. But
Was this while you were working at a brewery?
I definitely did all-nighters at Fair State, yeah. But
Good
like
God.
yeah. But anyway,
Okay.
yeah, some like especially if I was working alone, which was most commonly the case. Like when I was in consulting, I would sometimes, be doing this too. Like I would just like get down and rip out some push-ups like every 20 minutes to try and stay awake.
My goodness.
It's a pretty good way because it gets your blood flowing, and you're not consuming caffeine, so there's not a lot of lasting effects. You're not like really harming your sleep quality. You still
Yeah.
shouldn't like work out close to bed, but like
Mhm.
if you're just doing a few push-ups, it's not really working out.
Yeah. I have not employed that technique. I also haven't done a lot of like all-nighters in my working career. I've done a couple like yeah, through the night type working things, but
Mhm.
I cannot remember, like, it's been a long time. I can't remember what I did to get through that. I think it was just like going in knowing I always knew,
Mhm.
like, they were like scheduled ahead of time. So I was like, okay, I sleep in late the night before and
Uh-huh.
prepare myself for that sort of thing, which probably isn't the case with you. Was it more like you were like, oh no, I have way too much work. I need to stay up all night?
Yeah, it was generally coming on the heels of a string of days with subpar sleep.
Oh no. Jesus.
Work
I
hard
should
and
ask
go
my
to college
brother.
so you can get a good job.
Yeah. My brother is a surgeon.
Mm,
And so he, like, I think is very well acquainted with sleep deprivation through his residency,
uh-huh.
and less so now, but certainly in his residency, I think he would do a lot of like 36-hour shifts.
Yeah.
And so I should ask him sometime what his strategies were for kind of making it through that sort of stuff,
Rough.
and compare it to, doing curls.
Yeah, ask him. Did you ever get the bendy bar?
Yeah, does that help?
Oh man,
Oh, man.
that'd be a dope doctor though, right? Just like I'll catch up with you guys in a minute. I gotta rip out some curls here.
Yeah. Let me
gotta
take
get
off all this PPP. I gotta scrub out for a minute and do some of these bendy bars.
If they're not allowed in the hospital, why do you call them medicine balls? Oh man.
Good stuff. I just realized that's like right at is that I have one last note in the episode. Do you have anything else?
I have one last note as well.
Oh, let's hear it.
So we see Rick has to take his truck in
Mhm.
to get fixed, and he's in the garage getting it fixed, and we very briefly see something interesting on the back wall of the garage. I'm going to drop this into the chat.
Oh, yes.
Anyone who is streaming this or has been watching it on YouTube later, you've been seeing it on our kind of background there. Graham, let me know when you pop that bad boy open.
What?
Uh-huh.
That was on the back wall?
That was on the back wall.
Oh, that's sick.
Yes.
It's so I'll do you want me to
Yes.
explain it? It's maybe if I blow it up, I'll get it. Nope, it's still absolutely tiny. It is a very grainy black and white poster that says "Vote Alex Debogorski for mayor."
Yes.
And it looks like, I'm guessing, him and his wife. And
Also
he's
guessing.
holding, yeah, he's holding something. Maybe his first child.
Not telling us all.
I don't know.
Yeah.
He looks like it's like a white
Mhm.
button-down shirt, and it's kind of unbuttoned pretty low. Again, this is like the picture itself is like the size of the tip of an eraser,
Uh-huh.
so I can't tell very well. But he looks super sick.
Yes. Yeah, the poster is very rad.
Yeah.
So he did run for mayor of Yellowknife in the early 1990s.
Oh, no way!
Yes. Yeah. He did
God,
not
he's the
win,
best.
but that is presumably like an OG campaign poster.
Oh man, he's the coolest.
Yes.
He's definitely the best character on this show right now.
Hundo P, Team Alex all the way.
Man. How do you feel about Rick Yam? You still riding the fence on Rick Yam?
It was good to see him laugh, and I kind of felt bad for him when he had that conversation with his wife, about like, do we have enough money in the bank account for me
No,
to
that's
be able to...
Drew. You're thinking Drew.
I'm thinking about Drew.
Yeah.
That's right. Yes. Yeah,
We are
I
an
still
anti-Rick Yam podcast.
You keep saying that.
I'm just waiting for you to catch up, man.
Yeah, I mean, again, there's some problematic shit that happened in this episode, which did involve Rick, and dude just cannot get his chain situation worked out.
Yeah.
But I don't think I'm excluding him from my sphere of moral concern.
Okay. All right. You'll come around. That's all
Okay.
right. But about Drew, since you just brought him up, I also felt bad. So he, it's kind of funny. He just shows up and he goes to the one, I guess there's only
The
one
one
mechanic
guy.
for like 600 trucks or something. And literally, I mean, like everybody's using him. He must be so busy.
Yeah.
So Drew shows up and Drew was like, I lost the battery. It's like somehow his battery and the entire assembly, which is like some metal box that holds the battery in place, fell out of the bottom of his truck. Is that what you
Yes.
am I supposed to believe that?
Yes.
And the wiring, it just like all
That's the
dropped out
whole
the
damn
bottom, and
thing.
he was like, luckily I have a new alternator.
Uh-huh.
Otherwise, I guess I would have just shut down.
Yeah, that was pretty nuts.
Yeah, I didn't know you could drive a car without a battery in it at all. Apparently,
Yeah.
he made it back.
Thank God for that alternator.
But then, yeah, we see him like, his only real option, because he can't sleep in the truck because it's in the shop.
Mhm.
Normally, I'm guessing, although I don't have any proof that you can sleep in a truck. Normally, I assume you would sleep in your own truck for these 60 days.
Yeah.
So now he has to get a hotel room, and I was kind of surprised. They said $300. It's like, wow, that's
Well, I
seems
think
steep.
that was for 2 nights.
Oh, was it? Okay,
I think.
okay, and maybe it's Canadian.
Canadian, but you got to think back to what were exchange rates in 2007. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I could maybe next. I'll get the math together for next episode. Figure out that exchange, but yeah. And so he calls his wife to ask if they have the money in the bank to do that. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh, I feel for him.
Yeah, that's a shitty. Yeah, it's obviously there's just like a real situation of like, not having resources, but then the way that they cut it in particular seemed to really hint at like that like him having to call his wife and have that conversation also was like kind of hurtful to his pride.
Oh, I didn't pick up on that as much, but now that you say it, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that says a lot about me and my shit, but yeah. So Drew, kind of a shithead, but
Yeah.
I hope things turn around for him.
Yeah. Also, like, I guess I'm to suppose that they are not getting paid until the end of everything, because
That
like
part
if
is
he
really
needs $300, like my man has made some money. He's done trips. At the end, it shows the thing,
Mhm.
and he's made like almost $10,000, right?
yeah.
So
Yeah, that's a really interesting question. And so he's on Hugh's crew, right? And
Yeah.
so I really wonder what the economics are of like, are they paying some fee to Hugh in order to use the trucks, or does their money go to Hugh and then he gives them a cut? Like, I don't know.
yeah.
But it seems
Oh,
like
yeah,
there's a
that's a good
lot of
point.
opportunity for just some real shitty working capital situations.
Yeah. And also, like, I mean, if Hughes's employer and his truck, it sounds like it wasn't his fault that the batteries dropped out the bottom of his
Yeah,
truck.
like, hey, bud.
Hey, Hugh, your truck fucked up. I need money for a hotel.
Yeah, that's interesting. I don't really know what these relationships are between like, these guys and the trucks, the actual trucks.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. Kind of hoping we get a little bit of a step back from Hugh and Rick's
That would be
drama
cool.
in the next
That'd be
episode.
cool.
Yeah.
I'd love to see more of what our boy Jay is up to.
I know. You know, did I certainly don't have a note about Jay in this episode. I
Mm-mm.
don't think we saw any of Jay.
Nothing.
0, right?
0.
Very little of TJ.
Yep.
Very little of Drew.
Yep.
Honestly, very little of Alex. It was almost all Hugh and Rick.
Yep.
So, all right. Hopefully we see some more of the other guys next episode. I'm ready for it.
Absolutely. Let's even it out.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Well, as we bring it on home, want to thank you again for listening and watching. Really appreciate the encouragement from those of you who have reached out on social media and rated us on your pod catcher of choice. We'll be back next week with episode 4.
Hang loose and keep on trucking, folks.